ये कैसा लाइक ट्रांजिशन का आपका कोई थॉट था या फिर आपको अपग्रेड करना था, आपको करियर स्विच करना था? व्हाट वर योर थॉट्स?
That it was a very difficult decision for me to put a stop to that and explore any new avenue.
Do you think Canada actually values your experience and your networking skills?
मुझे क्या फील्ड में जॉब करनी है? So there was project management, there was operational management, there was fund accounting.
तो फिर इंडिया में आपका you were a CA. Was that a helpful degree for you coming to Canada?
Transition अगर मुझे इंडिया में करना था, I was already at assistant manager level. The next job position for me would be manager.
Was your accounting skills and experience that you have, was that important and useful while coming and starting here from scratch?
And out of all these combinations, I thought Canada was the easiest fit for me.
You were a CA in KPMG, so was that worth it to leave and come over here in Canada?
तो वहाँ पे भी अगर टैक्स करना था, यहाँ पे भी टैक्स करना है, तो सिर्फ ज्योग्राफी चेंज हुई. बट मेरे जानने पहचान में ऐसे बहुत लोग हैं जिनको 6 महीने तक जॉब नहीं मिल रही थी आने के बाद. सो आई वॉज अ लिटिल स्कैर्ड.
इस पूरे पॉडकास्ट को स्टार्ट करने से पहले अगर आपको हमारा कंटेंट अच्छा लगे then you can subscribe to CIS so that हम हर हफ्ते पॉडकास्ट को और बेहतर बनाते जाए. अगर आपको इससे कुछ भी सीखने को मिले तो अपने दोस्तों के साथ शेयर करें. इस पॉडकास्ट का ऑडियो वर्जन एप्पल पॉडकास्ट, स्पॉटिफाई एंड अमेजन म्यूजिक पे अवेलेबल है. नाउ एंजॉय दिस पॉडकास्ट. Welcome everyone. This is episode 5 of Canadian Immigrant Stories. Today we have guest Vyoma Rao here with us, and she is gonna share her journey starting from उसने इंडिया में उन्होंने she was a lawyer as well as a chartered accountant in India. Also worked for almost 10 years in India as a CA. It was a long journey. She also worked in big firms like KPMG. तो इतना सारा एक्सपीरियंस, इतना सारा नॉलेज होने के बाद, इतना अच्छा करियर होने के बाद उन्होंने कनाडा आने का सोचा, अब्रॉड जाने का सोचा. तो व्हाट वर द थॉट्स इन योर माइंड? लाइक आपने इतना अच्छा करियर के बाद आपके लाइक ये कैसा लाइक द ट्रांजिशन का आपका कोई थॉट था या फिर आपको अपग्रेड करना था, आपको करियर स्विच करना था? व्हाट वर द थॉट्स व्हेन यू केम टू इंडिया, कनाडा?
Okay, that's a loaded question. I'll give you a brief background of how my career trajectory has been. I completed my CA in 2015. Post that, I was working with my father for a few years, and then I shifted to KPMG and I worked with KPMG. And in both these job roles, I was working as a tax auditor and a tax consultant. But I always thought that I wanted to expand my field. And then COVID happened and the whole world was in a standstill, and I realized that I don't enjoy being a tax consultant as much as I would enjoy any other field. And at that point in time, I had been in tax for so long that it was a very difficult decision for me to put a stop to that and explore any new avenue. And ऐसे हो जाता है कि इंडिया में हम लोगों के पास में हमको पता है कि हमारे पास एक्सपीरियंस टैक्स में है. सो द नेक्स्ट जॉब यू विल फाइंड इज टू टेक अ जंप और टू टेक अ बेटर प्रोफाइल, पर वो टैक्स के फील्ड में ही होगा. आई डिडंट वांट टू डू दैट एंड आई न्यू दैट फॉर श्योर. तो ये ट्रांजिशन अगर मुझे इंडिया में करना था, आई वाज ऑलरेडी एट असिस्टेंट मैनेजर लेवल. द नेक्स्ट जॉब पोजीशन फॉर मी वुड बी मैनेजर. तो अगर मुझे मैनेजर लेवल पे जाना है और मुझे चेंज करना है से टू इनडायरेक्ट टैक्सेशन और टू अकाउंटिंग और टू एनी अदर फील्ड, वन इट वुड बी वेरी चैलेंजिंग फॉर मी, or I will have to take a pay cut and then stay. So I thought that why not utilize this time to work and explore in another geography. And when I was doing that, especially that was a COVID time, तो मेरे पास बहुत free time था वो सब चीज़ करने के लिए. I was exploring UK, Canada, US, Dubai, UAE, and also Australia. And out of all these combinations, I thought Canada was the easiest fit for me per se, because I had a lot of work experience. For me to get to Canada and get the PR would be easy. The process after PR for citizenship is also easy if I plan to stay here. So all those things said and done, it was a very good and a safe choice for me to come to Canada versus any other countries. Um, all the other countries have very strict laws related to immigration. And that's when I was like, okay, let's do something which everybody's talking about. And if you see, before COVID happened, 2016 to 2019, there have been a lot of people from India who have come to Canada. It was their first choice because it's that simple and easy. एंड कोविड आने के बाद लोगों को ये लगा नहीं था कि इतना जल्दी फेड आउट हो जाएगा वो चीज, एंड इतना जल्दी सी कनेडियन गवर्नमेंट पे भी प्रेशर है to employ the people that they are calling as skilled workers. And a lot of skilled workers, especially people who are CAs, engineers, who are not finding a job, are doing odd jobs here. So it's not a rosy picture for everyone. I got lucky and I worked for it. But ये सबके साथ नहीं होता. So one, Canada for me was the easiest job option. And two, Canada might not be the most lucrative for finance professionals who have as much experience as I do, but it is still a viable option if you play your cards right. So that is one reason why I sort of I cannot say chose this because this job chose me ideally, but yeah, I stuck to this because this is.
But how did you got to know like you should be pursuing this position? Like आपने इंडिया में अलग बैकग्राउंड था, तो यहाँ पे आने के बाद like how did you explore the different fields?
Well, first of all, when you're coming from one country to a different geography, it's not that you're changing your country, you're changing your geography and your continent. तो यहाँ पे बहुत सारी चीजें बहुत अलग है और यहाँ पे बहुत सारे अलग जॉब प्रोफाइल्स है जो इंडिया में नहीं है.
ओके.
सो वी हमारी कंपनी जो है उनका बैक ऑफिस इंडिया में है एंड दे हैव अ सपोर्ट स्टाफ इन इंडिया, बट द रोल दैट वी प्ले हियर इज वेरी डिफरेंट. एंड while I came here, I was not fixated on the fact that I wanted to do fund accounting or I want to do management consulting or I want to do transfer pricing or something like that. I knew that I had a specific skill set और वो स्किल सेट में मैं क्या यूटिलाइज कर सकती हूँ और कौन से फील्ड में मैं कंट्रीब्यूट कर सकती हूँ. दैट वाज माय आइडियोलॉजी. So what happens here is people are trying to read the job description and try to fit themselves within that. You are not supposed to do that. You are supposed to first analyze what kind of skill set do you have and be open to opportunities. So when I first had the meeting with the folks at Apex, I remember them asking me whether I had any prior experience or not. And I did have somewhat of an experience related to fund accounting because I was auditing one of the private equity firms. But I wanted to make sure that experience was enough for them. And they said that there are a lot of things that you will have to learn. So then there is going to be a learning curve and we'll take you at an very entry level stage. Though it is, a senior fund accountant, they know that there was some learning curve involved. तो वो चाहते थे कि मैं वहाँ से स्टार्ट करूँ जहाँ से वो लोग आइडियली एक फ्रेशर को स्टार्ट करते हैं.
So as a newcomer, जब आप कनाडा में आए, तो how did you start exploring the field? Like आपके एक्सपीरियंस के हिसाब से आपने जॉब अपॉर्चुनिटीज फाइंड आउट की, अपने लोगों से रीच आउट किया, अपने लोगों से मिलना स्टार्ट किया. Like how did you explore the different fields?
So ये काफी इंटरेस्टिंग क्वेश्चन है और मैं इसलिए बोलूंगी बिकॉज सबका तरीका अलग होता है. आई एम अ वेरी आउटस्पोकन पर्सन, आई एम अ वेरी आउटगोइंग पर्सन, तो मेरे लिए बहुत आसान है लोगों से कनेक्ट करना. तो आई वाज इन शेरिडन कॉलेज, आई वाज परस्यूइंग बिजनेस मैनेजमेंट एज माय स्टडी कोर्स ओवर देयर. और जब भी मैं 1 साल का वो स्टडी कोर्स कर रही थी, देयर आर लॉट ऑफ सब्जेक्ट्स एंड देयर वर अ लॉट ऑफ टीचर्स who sort of helped me out in understanding what are the fields available here in Canada. क्योंकि सबसे पहला होमवर्क है कि तुम्हें क्या चाहिए. You can get a job that you want, but you need to decide what you want. तो फर्स्ट है कि मुझे डिसाइड करना था कि एक नए जोग्राफी में आने के बाद मुझे क्या फील्ड में जॉब करनी है. So there was project management, there was operational management, there was fund accounting, there was a lot of things, and all these professors sort of linked me to group meetings or clubs or कंसोर्शियम्स जहाँ पे ये सारे डिस्कशंस होते थे, या फिर मैं मिल सकती थी रिक्रूटर्स से और मिल सकती थी इंडस्ट्री में काम करने वाले लोगों से, टू अंडरस्टैंड वन वेदर आई लाइक दैट और नॉट, एंड टू वेदर आई विल गेट दैट जॉब और नॉट. तो एक होता है कि तुम जो अलुमनाई बेस होता है तुम्हारा कॉलेज का, उनसे रीच आउट कर सकते हो. फॉर शेरिडन कॉलेज वी हैव एन अलुमनाई पेज, एंड I used to put a filter. So if I want a job in, say, I'm in fund accounting right now. If I want a job in fund accounting, I'll go and search who all are working in fund accounting. उसमें जो इंडिया से यहाँ पे आके जिनको 4 साल हो चुके हैं, मैं उनको रीच आउट करना चाहूंगी, बिकॉज नाउ दे हैव चोजन टू लिव हियर इन कनाडा. सो दे, उनको पता है क्या पसंद है, क्या पसंद नहीं आता है, क्या चलता है, क्या नहीं चलता है, एंड दे हैव रीच्ड हियर इन दिस लेवल. तो मतलब उन लोगों को बेसिक आइडिया ऑफ हाउ शुड आई क्रैक इट इन वो पता है.
Okay.
So first I did was I used to go to meetups. Second, I reached out to people who are alumni from my own college. Third, I used to search online. What are the top 10 companies that are recruiting? What are the recruiters that are on the lookout? If you see my LinkedIn page, maybe since I joined Apex, I have not put anything, but till the time I was a very active person on LinkedIn. And that's how you get noticed. It's been 1 year since I've started working with Apex, and I get job offers or inquiries on LinkedIn because of my trajectory.
Okay. So आपने पहले से जब आप कनाडा में आए, the time when you were already studying, आपने पहले से लिंक्डइन अपना रीच आउट स्टार्ट किया? व्हाट वर द एल्यूमिनी वाज डूइंग? आपने अपने प्रोफेसर्स का हेल्प ली? मतलब यू वर एट द स्टार्ट.
दैट इज वेरी क्रूशियल टू अंडरस्टैंड, क्योंकि क्या हो जाता है कि हम सोचते हैं कि हमारे पास में 2 साल का कोर्स है या हमारे पास में 8 महीने का कोर्स है, तो वो हो जाएगा. जब ग्रेजुएशन करेंगे उस दिन से जॉब अप्लाई करना स्टार्ट करेंगे. बट फॉर मी इट वाज वेरी डिफिकल्ट बिकॉज मैं 1 ही साल का कोर्स कर रही थी. सो द PGWP दैट आई विल गेट विल आल्सो बी ऑफ 1 year. And if my clock starts ticking and I don't have a job, तो मेरा वो जो 1 साल वाला जो क्राइटेरिया वो नहीं हो पाता. And I didn't want to go for a 2 year education for a 3 year work permit, because it was too much time consumption for me. I come from a lot of experience, तो मुझे वो नहीं करना था. एंड इसलिए मैंने जैसे ही यहाँ पे लैंड किया कनाडा में, because see, you have to understand, when you are in a foreign country, एक तो तुम्हें 1-1.5 महीना चला जाएगा समझने में कि क्या opportunities है. You can't be searching for the same opportunities you had back in India, thinking that you will find a different result, right? तो वहाँ पे भी अगर टैक्स करना था, यहाँ पे भी टैक्स करना है, तो सिर्फ geography change हुई. And my agenda was not to earn in dollars. My agenda was to actually explore my career options. तो मैंने फिर ये चीज़ की थी कि जब मैं लैंड हुई उस दिन से I started interacting with people. In fact, not when I landed, I started reaching out to people beforehand. So when I was in India, I changed my LinkedIn profile location to Toronto, and I started searching people. I started reaching out to HRs to pick their mind, to understand कि उनको क्या चाहिए, एक कैंडिडेट से वो क्या पूछेंगे, क्या चाहिए होगा. तो बहुत सारे मेरे दोस्तों ने मुझे हेल्प की थी ये जानने में, बिकॉज दे वर ऑल्सो गिविंग इंटरव्यूज ना. वो जब तक मेरा 1 साल का पीरियड कंप्लीट होता तब तक बहुत सारे ऐसे दोस्त थे जो इंटरव्यूज दे रहे थे, रिजेक्ट हो रहे थे, एक्सेप्ट हो रहे थे. तो वो सारी जो चीजें थी, एंड यहाँ पे कनाडा में कंपटीशन बहुत हाई है. So even if you give a good interview, there are chances that you will get rejected. But that feedback is always open and available from the interviewer. So that is something new that I found out here, and that is something that really helped me.
तो आपने एक चीज ना सबसे अच्छी बोली कि इंडिया में आप थे तब से आप यू स्टार्टेड लाइक प्लानिंग द 1 year अहेड, कि आपका भी पढ़ाई स्टार्ट भी नहीं है, उससे पहले आप पढ़ाई के बाद कैसे अप्रोच करोगे जॉब रिक्रूटर्स को, कंपनीज को, द कैंडिडेट्स हु आर ऑलरेडी अप्लाइंग फॉर जॉब. तो यू स्टार्टेड ट्रैकिंग दैट. तो ऑलरेडी यू वर लर्निंग लाइक टाइम से आगे आप चल रहे थे. तो दैट वाज अ गुड पॉइंट कि वो आपको होपफुली काफी काम में भी आया.
Actually, I'd also like to say that मेरे बहुत सारे ऐसे दोस्त भी हैं जिनको बहुत कम टाइम में जॉब मिल गई है. बट मेरे मेरे जानने पहचान में ऐसे बहुत लोग हैं जिनको 6 महीने तक जॉब नहीं मिल रही थी आने के बाद. सो आई वॉज अ लिटिल स्कैर्ड कि मुझे ये सिचुएशन में नहीं होना कि मेरा वर्क परमिट का टाइम शुरू हो जाए और मैं उसके बाद में 3-4 महीने तक जॉब ना लूँ. सो आई वांटेड short understanding. So whenever I approached people also, तभी कैसे होता है कि हम कभी अप्रोच करते हैं तो वो बोलते हैं कि तुम्हारा वर्क परमिट सिचुएशन क्या है, एंड दे इफ यू टेल देम कि नहीं मेरा वर्क परमिट 4 महीने बाद आएगा, तो वो बोलेंगे 4 महीने बाद आना. I used to tell them that my work permit is in progress.
Okay.
I can apply the moment you give me a confirmation with a job offer.
Okay.
And this conversation started in July. And I got a job in August end, and I started in September mid. So there was a lot of time even after I had landed the job. And if there are people who really want you, who understand that you bring a certain level of skill sets to the table, they will wait for you. Canadian market is, yeah, it is employers market, but यहाँ पे बहुत ऐसी चीजें भी है कि they look at talent. उन लोगों को जरूरी लगता है कि हाँ ये बंदा कर पाएगा, काम नहीं कर पाएगा, बिकॉज यहाँ पे लोग 1 साल के अंदर तुम्हें फायर करने के लिए हायर नहीं करते. ले ऑफ्स हो रहे हैं, but that is because of different reasons. It's not this.
Okay.
But a few things that I really learned is that one, you have to be open-minded. You cannot be that नहीं ये तो मुझे आता है या मेरे को तो ये कभी नहीं आएगा. You can't be like that. You have to be open-minded. You have to be a little flexible with your managers, your seniors, your mentors. To have people outside of your organization helping you, not with the client work of course, but बहुत सारी ऐसी चीजें होती है related to fund accounting. For example, in fund accounting we have this concept of distribution waterfall mechanism. तो वो जो calculation है वो थोड़ा difficult है समझने के लिए, and for me it was I was having a little hard time because I have never done that before. तो मुझे organization में तो लोग समझा रहे थे, but I took some help from outside so that I understand it in a easier way. Plus एक चीज हो जाती है कि जब तुम लोगों के साथ काम कर रहे हो, you are supposed to perform. You are not supposed to add to their problems. You are supposed to solve it for them. तो ये चीज हो जाती है कि you should have mentors and people who are guiding you both in and outside the organization. That is very important when you are having a career change, and वो सिर्फ कनाडा में करने के लिए नहीं है, वो इंडिया में ही तुम कर रहे हो career field change, या you're going to any other country. That's the same thing. I think that helped me a lot. And 3 would be कि जब decide कर लिया है, you have stepped into this particular field, you need to see, do you see yourself here like in 5 years, 10 years, and where do you see yourself in 5-10 years? Because if it is not making any logic to your long-term goals, then in the short term you'll always be unsatisfied. And I don't like to be that. I like to give my 100%. तो वो सोचो कि ये job तुमने ले ली. I took this job because I wanted to start my work permit criteria, but this job has given me a lot, and I think that I can excel in this. So this is my future target, that in the next 5 years I'll be in a certain stage in fund accounting. उसके बाद fund management side में जाना है, investment side में जाना है. So there are a lot of other options that are open to me. So you have to think that when you're digressing from one path to the other, what is the scope in the future for you?
So as you told, you should have clear vision. आपके पास एक vision goal clear है long time, उसके हिसाब से you are pursuing the job. ये नहीं like आपको clear पता था कि I am looking myself after 5 years over here. तो उस हिसाब से आपने job pursue करना start किया. But आप जब explore किया, जब आपने एक goal set किया, तो फिर आपने बोला कि mentors भी होना जरूरी है, learning to learn specific things inside and outside. So how did you start finding your mentors?
It's a funny story. I was in my project management class, and उसके through मुझे एक as a student representative भेजा था for a session where there were a lot of recruiters and there were a lot of mentors. So these are basically career coaches.
Okay.
And if you look it up in Canada, this is taken in North America, so to say, it is taken very seriously. So if you go to these career coaches. They for the first session it was free, so they just asked me what I wanted to do, and I was like, I want to be an astronaut. They're like, okay, we'll plan for you. And it is that way how they plan, because they are also not planning it for a short term period. They want to know whether you will sustain in this field for 5 years, 10 years, what is the current skill set that you have, and whether you will be able to get it or not. So मैंने उनको तभी मैंने उनको पूछा था for management consulting and for fund accounting. And they said that if you went into management consulting, you have to further niche it down. So अगर तुम्हें niche down करना है, तो तुम्हें tech side की companies को target करना है, or you want to target real estate, or you want to target. So what is it that you are most interested in? Don't search for things that are most required in this world. If you are good at it, it will be required. So first they ask you what your skill sets are. Then they ask you what kind of job are you looking for. Then they match the market potential and the demand with your job. So if you say that कि नहीं मुझे real estate agent बनना है, and they'll be like कि तो real estate agent बनना है तो तुम्हें ये location में बनना चाहिए. Okay, because Toronto, Vancouver, these are the cities that have a lot of competition. So they'll first tell you, okay, you want to be this. Then if you want to be this, where you should be to be the most successful, the most wanted. So that was something that career coaches help you with. And the third are, all these things are secondary. सबसे important आता है कि जब कनाडा में लोग आ रहे हैं, they want their PR to sail through, and they want money to survive. अगर ये दो चीज़ यहाँ पे तुम अचीव कर पा रहे हो तुम्हारे जॉब के थ्रू, then that is the kind of job that I want to go for. Now I know that I could go for a management consulting job or a fund accounting job, because these are the two things that I was passionate about. और इसके बारे में मुझे आगे कुछ जाके करना पड़ेगा. And both of these don't require CPA. Okay. Yes. So that was my thought process कि मुझे आगे CPA नहीं करना है. That I had decided. It took me time. मेरे को 6-7 महीने लगे decide करने में कि मुझे CPA करना है कि नहीं करना है. But I decided I don't want to do this, so I have these two choices.
Okay.
Now I have these two choices, and I applied for these two positions in all the companies that I thought of. और उसमें से luckily there was a common friend who referred me to Apex, and that's how I landed this job.
Okay. So you know what you wanted to, like for example आपको CPA नहीं करना था, you had a clear mind. But फिर आपने explore किया, you met mentors and you got to know कि these two things I can do without pursuing for CPA. Or and then after you look out for the career options, like the future career options, how it's उसका future कैसा है, are there any opportunities available right now as well as in future. और उसके बाद आपने pursue करना start किया. So this was the clear process. Or yes. Like anything do you want to add?
I think I would like to add something, क्योंकि ये जो process है ये straight jacket formula नहीं है. While it will work 99% of the time for people, but एक चीज होती है यहाँ पे, when you are in Canada you are spending in dollars and you have savings in rupees. Yes. Indian rupees.
Yes.
So you have to be very mindful of that also. So for me, मेरे को अगर कंसल्टिंग में बेटर जॉब अपॉर्चुनिटी मिल भी रही थी, तो वो मिल रही थी मुझे 6 महीने बाद या 8 महीने बाद, and I couldn't wait for that long. So that's why my career decision was also based on time.
Okay.
तो time frame भी important था, and I was flexible enough to see how I grow in this field, because I was anyway digressing. तो मेरे दिमाग में वो एक नहीं, otherwise what will happen is you'll constantly feel कि अरे यार शायद वो कर लिया होता तो बेटर होता, उसमें तो कमाई ज़्यादा हो रही है, उसमें तो इंक्रीमेंट ज़्यादा हो रही है. तो ये सारा कंपैरिजन अभी मुझे नहीं है, because I knew why I took that decision like a year back.
Okay, so time भी इतना important था कि you had a like limited time for PR as well as your spending and your like earning also.
Yeah.
So these things were also in your mind. Apart from this, how did you find the mentor? Like as an ideal person, कोई अगर newcomer for मान लो कि कोई एक नया बंदा है who is coming as an immigrant in Canada right now, like after he just came after before one month. So how will he find a mentor? Like he wanna pursue business, he wanna do the business, or he wanna do the business management. Then how he should be looking for mentors? Like कहाँ पे देखना चाहिए? कोई भी field हो, but how should he be looking for mentors?
Oh wow, it's a very difficult question
Because
to
काफी लोगों को ये
answer.
लगता है कि mentors are important, everybody know,
Hmm.
but how they should be finding the mentors,
Hmm.
like कहाँ पे उनको मिल सकते हैं?
I'll tell you, there are two frameworks. One
Hmm.
is a paid channel and one is an unpaid channel.
Okay.
I believe in unpaid channel because मेरे को ऐसे लगता है कि that somebody who is not asking for money
Hmm.
and who is genuinely helping you in getting better somehow feels that you can do it.
Okay.
That feeling for me is the most important. So paid channels are, as I told you, career coaches, you look it up, you will get people who will tell you how to do it. Resume building से लेके resume में क्या डालना चाहिए, क्या नहीं डालना चाहिए, कब resume भेजना चाहिए, कब follow up करनी चाहिए, interview में क्या बोलना चाहिए, क्या नहीं बोलना चाहिए, जो तुम्हारे skill set है वो कैसे portray करनी चाहिए. So all these things, there are paid mechanisms for it. If you search online, you will get it. For the unpaid bit, यहाँ पे वो हो जाता है कि तुम्हें मेहनत करनी पड़ती है. Because nobody is going to invest time in you if they don't believe in you. And there was a time when people told me कि आप LinkedIn पे cold messaging कर लो, लोग आपको respond करेंगे. और लोग रिस्पॉन्ड करते हैं, बट 50 मैसेज डालोगे तो 5 लोग रिस्पॉन्ड करते हैं, और वो 5 लोग जो रिस्पॉन्ड करते हैं उसमें से एक बंदा हेल्प कर पाता है.
Okay.
So that is a very challenging process. For me, it was easy because I was one using tools to sort of understand the profile of that person and see whether I have something in common, whether it is alumni base or past experiences, और मैंने एक ही बार करियर स्विच किया है, तो वैसा सिमिलर किसी ने करियर स्विच किया हो या वो बहुत टाइम से हो. So ये सारी चीजें आइडेंटिफाई करना बहुत टाइम कंज्यूमिंग है, एंड आई हैड दैट टाइम बिकॉज आई वाज परस्यूइंग अ कोर्स हियर. तो मेरे को वो टाइम देने में प्रॉब्लम नहीं थी. प्लस अगर तुम्हें प्रॉब्लम है तो अगर अपने पास दबा के रखोगे वो प्रॉब्लम तो कभी सोल्यूशन नहीं आएगा. यू हैव टू टॉक अबाउट इट, एंड यू कैन टॉक अबाउट इट ओनली टू पीपल हु विल नो. अरे ये मेरे अंकल है, वो तो IT फील्ड में, उनको नहीं पता होगा. नो, टॉक टू हिम. ये मेरे बाजू वाली है, ये तो टीचिंग फील्ड में है, तो मैं इससे क्यों बात करूँ. नो, टॉक टू हिम. दीज आर द ओनली पीपल हु यू कनेक्ट विद. उनको बोलो कि तुम ये फील्ड से हो, तुम ये ढूंढ रहे हो. You never know who will connect you to whom.
So talking about the problems or talking about the things that you have in your mind, और उसको शेयर करना अपने आसपास के लोगों से, चाहे कोई भी हो, चाहे अपने रिलेटिव्स हो, चाहे यहाँ पे कोई फ्रेंड सर्कल्स हो, चाहे आपके क्लासमेट्स हो, whoever, तो उसमें से there is a possibility
So
you will find.
I'll tell you the story of how I landed my job here in Apex. So one of my friends who was in marketing, okay, he also moved to Toronto, and he moved to Toronto I think a couple of months after me. So अभी वो तो मेरे भी बाद में आया हुआ बंदा है, उससे मैं बात करके क्या ही मुझे हेल्प मिलने वाली थी. But I told him that okay, if you want any help, वो मार्केटिंग फील्ड में है, मुझे मार्केटिंग का MB नहीं पता है. So I was like, you tell me what kind of job roles you are looking for, क्योंकि मैं जो कॉलेज में हूँ वहाँ पे शायद कोई मार्केटिंग में हो जिससे मैं पूछ सकूँ. I can do a grassroots level conversation कि क्या चलता है, क्या नहीं चलता है, तुझे क्या काम आ सकता है. He told me personally कि वो ये जॉब करता है, and I was like, okay, let me see if I can help you out. But he already had contacts and he already landed a job. Now, जब मैंने उससे पूछा तो उसने मुझे पूछा कि तुम क्या करती है. And though he did not understand in depth what I do, he's like, कुछ तो फाइनेंस में है ना. हाँ ठीक है. मेरा एक दोस्त है जो यहाँ पे फाइनेंस में, he's trying to build his team, and I think I can put you in touch with him. I was like, ठीक है. Reluctantly मैंने बात कर ली थी, and that's how I landed my job here in Apex.
Okay.
So I landed a job in Apex through someone I knew from school who was in marketing.
Yeah.
तो कोई कनेक्शन ही नहीं था मेरा यहाँ पे जॉब के लिए बात करने का. But things happen, and once you are putting your efforts, luck only favors the person who is prepared. तो आप prepared हो तो बाद में then you have to try your chances. You can't be like ये तो marketing है, इसमें क्या ही इसको बोल के फायदा है. You can't be like that. You have to be very, very sincere in your approach in finding a job, because that is very difficult here. And Canada, people are very helpful, and people are people's people. तो वो तुमको तब हेल्प करेंगे जब उनको लगेगा कि हाँ इसको जेन्युइनली जरूरत है. If you are like नहीं मुझे जरूरत नहीं है तो क्यों कोई हेल्प करेगा, right?
Yes. अगर बच्चे को भूख लगती है और अगर वो माँ को बोलेगा नहीं कि मुझे भूख लगी है, तो माँ भी खाना नहीं देती।
हाँ, रोया है तो कुछ लगा होगा,
हाँ।
थक गया होगा या कुछ भी होगा. Whatever you want, you have to ask for it.
Genuinely ask, till the point you don't ask for it, you don't get it.
Yeah.
So आपने भी genuinely, like, चाहे कोई भी फील्ड में हो,
So जब तुम internship करते हो, that portion is when you work for a professional. Here, that concept is there, but that is, I mean, it's not a prolonged period. In India, it is supposed to be a 3 to 4 years before you actually start working. So मैंने 3 साल की article थी before I even became a CA. So for people who are freshers, you can bank on this period of experience that you have. You can say that you work for this field for the past 3 years, and now you've become a qualified chartered accountant. You want to go ahead with it. So ये चीज एक difference आ जाती है for a person who's qualified. Now, a person who's not qualified and does not have an experience, that is going to be challenging. Then you have to pursue certificate courses and the courses that will make you a good candidate for that particular job role. तो ये अलग हो जाता है. And एक fund accounting, for example, ACCA भी है, CFA के लोग को भी roles मिल सकते हैं, CA को भी मिल सकते हैं. And so there are different groups of people who are having the skill set for this particular thing. You need to identify whether you are the one.
Okay. So it makes like quite a big difference if you are experienced, if you are qualified, or if you are just a newcomer or just coming out of college.
Absolutely. One, it makes difference because you have something to present on your resume. Two, I have worked in a different field, but I have worked there. Can I draw similar experiences and similar level of work values that can be utilized in my current job profile? Yes, I can. क्योंकि फाइनेंस फील्ड में कोई जॉब ऐसी नहीं होती कि एक से दूसरी बहुत ही अलग होगी. ठीक है, कुछ ऐसा होगा जिसमें ऑडिटिंग चाहिए, कुछ होगा जिसमें फाइनेंशियल मॉडलिंग चाहिए, कुछ होगा जिसमें डिसीजन मेकिंग चाहिए. एंड नाउ इन फंड अकाउंटिंग आई कैन डू a few things out of all these things and can add it to my profile. So experience versus no experience is a very wide gap. But if you don't have experience also, you can do a lot of things after coming.
Okay. So I have already read कि काफी कंपनीज में ये भी प्रेफरेंस होता है कि इतने परसेंट मेल एम्प्लॉइज, इतने परसेंट फीमेल एम्प्लॉइज, ये प्रायोरिटीज होती है, प्रेफरेंसेस होते हैं. तो डू यू थिंक एज अ फीमेल, लाइक एज अ फीमेल किसी को अप्लाई करना है कहीं पे, तो हाउ शुड दैट बी वर्क आउट? लाइक कौन से स्पेसिफिक ऐसे कोई करियर ऑप्शंस देयर शुड बी एक्सप्लोरिंग?
I think that is a very good observation. Yes, in corporates, there is a quota system where they want diversity, where they want women to take charge, and a lot of mid-level management and senior level management in most organizations.
Do you think Canada actually values your experience and your networking skills?
Wow, I don't know about Canada, but my job does. But I think, yeah, if you have a good network is very important. Okay. You don't know anyone here. So if you know important people, yeah, it helps.
Okay. Was your accounting skills and experience that you have, was that important and useful while coming and starting here from scratch?
Absolutely. I was both a chartered accountant and a lawyer. And for a long period of time, I wanted to pursue my career in law. And though I'm not completely given up on it, but my education as a CA and my experience back home was very important.
Okay. Do you think networking in Canada is more about whom you know better than what you know?
Well, I think that is everywhere. I think who you know is very important. What you know is secondary. Because most of the people, we as humans, we will trust on the person that we know. We will not give chance to another person who we don't know. Even if that person is like a little better. I know Vyomesh. I don't know that XYZ person. I know that XYZ person is a very revered person, but with you, I can have that one-on-one conversation that, dude, this is not what I want, or this is exactly what I wanted, and you nailed it. Because there is that level of rapport with us. So who you know is very important. What you know is always secondary. I think that is my perception.
Yes. So of course that is gonna be prioritizing more like whom you know, whom you trust, whom you believe.
Yeah.
So yeah, that will be worth it. So one of the biggest thing I had in my mind since we started the podcast was your journey worth it to come here in Canada starting from scratch, even when you have the good experience and 10 year of experience as well as you were working in KPMG.
I've been here only for 2 years, but it has been good. I'm financially independent. I have a good work-life balance, and I like the job that I'm working at. So yeah.
How about the immigration? So
No.
and your PR.
So I recently got an invitation to apply, and I'm applying for my PR. The PR process was very challenging, but it has its ups and downs, and it's not just related to Canada. If you compare Canadian immigration with other countries, then Canada will not sound so bad.
Okay. What are the barriers that immigrants still face even nowadays too?
I think the biggest barrier would be filling out procedural forms on IRCC website. But yeah, apart from that, getting a job here is difficult because the market is going a little low at this point in time. So you need to understand whether you are in a field that requires a lot of workforce here. If not, you should take your time in coming and making the move to Canada.
Okay. And in 2020-24, is the recession affecting your job crisis and your opportunities of getting a better job?
I'm not looking for jobs right now, so I don't think so. But yeah, yeah, I'm here in Canada for over a year now, and I should be getting job opportunities upfront. But I think that's how it should work. That was the case back in India. I did get a few roles, but nothing very, aggressively impressive. So maybe recession does have some impact.
Okay. Coming to the end of the podcast, we have one theme question of the podcast.
Okay.
That if you would not be pursuing this field, आप अगर ये नहीं कर रहे होते, then what professional what passion you would be following?
मैं बहुत कुछ कर रही होती. But yeah, at the top of my head, I think there are two things that I'd like to say. I am a food blogger. I work for the Hoggers blog. And I want to be a travel influencer. So that is in the works. I do it by the side. So yeah, these are the two things that I'm very passionate about. So if I was not a fund accountant, maybe I'd be ending up in these two areas.
So are you a foodie person?
I'm a picky eater, but I like to review nice fancy restaurants.
Oh, okay. So you would be liking to explore new restaurants.
Yeah, we do that here in Toronto.
Okay. So yeah, that was a great talking to you. And काफी चीज हमने बात की कि करियर ट्रांजिशन हो, चाहे कोई नया इमिग्रेंट आ रहा हो एंड ही इज लुकिंग फॉर न्यू अपॉर्चुनिटीज और न्यू करियर स्विचिंग, इवन एज ए इमिग्रेंट क्या क्या चीजें ध्यान में रखनी चाहिए, हाउ टू डू नेटवर्किंग, वी टॉक्ड अबाउट अ लॉट एंड इट वाज अ ग्रेट conversation talking to you. So yeah, thank you.
I really appreciated you putting me on a spot with the quick fire round. And there were some really good controversial questions. So it was really nice meeting you. I'm really proud of what you're doing.
Thank you. Have a good one. इस पॉडकास्ट को एंड तक देखने के लिए धन्यवाद. ऐसा ही अमेजिंग एपिसोड्स के लिए यू कैन सब्सक्राइब टू CIS और हम आपके लिए एवरी वेडनेसडे लाते रहेंगे न्यू एपिसोड्स. See you on next Wednesday.